Next, we have Theophilus M. Odaudu from Syracuse University.
Okay. Do I stay here? Yes. I'm okay here?
Yes. You're fine.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I do hope you are not yet tired of hearing about persons with disabilities. Now, this only goes to show that it's time for action. I'll be talking to you today on building an equitable society for persons with disabilities. The term equity has been used in many quarters to refer to equality. Equity and equality are twin concepts that can be used in an effort to achieve fairness. They, however, do not mean the same thing. While I am not about to take you on an academic voyage, I would like to strike an elementary difference between the two concepts. Equity simply means giving each individual what they need to be successful. Equality, on the other hand, means treating everyone in the same manner. In other words, equity deals more with the individual's peculiar needs, while the requirement of equality is satisfied if everyone is given a blanket treatment. I'll give you a quick example. When we all came for this fellowship, we all got the IREX provided handsets. That is equality. We got the same kind of handsets. However, if the blanket of equality is lifted, it will become obvious that not everyone is fairly treated. And that is why IREX went further to provide a different kind of handset with the capacity to take some applications that will make it more accessible to persons with visual impairment, and that is equity. Yeah, so therefore, on achieving equality through equity, if I am to score, I think I will give the MWF team, my host university, and the entire Syracuse team a distinction. Now, do you know that about 1 billion persons, amounting to 15% of the world's population, are living with one form of disability or the other? 25 million of these live in Nigeria, where I come from, with over 3.5 million being faced daily with challenges in social and physical functioning. Day in, day out, these persons living with disabilities are faced with challenges due to systemic obstacles caused by lack of equitable planning. This has caused difficulty in accessing education, transportation, public building, technology, and so on, and exacerbating poverty among persons with disabilities. Many countries of Africa, like Nigeria, have ratified the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, yet have no local mechanism in place. I work with an organization that lobbied the government to see that we have this legislation, and appreciable progress has been made. However, what is the use of a well-drafted legislation without the implementation or the political will to set it in motion? And so, we also have some other things we do to ensure that equitable society is built. And I'm about to share some of these points with you, not just for your listening pleasure, but for you to replicate some of these in your various organizations. For instance, we want to set up a system in government, in organizations, and in high sectors of governance that will serve as a check, more like a think tank, that will constantly remind the government, policymakers, and implementers when designing policies to take into recognition the specific needs of persons with disabilities, and any policy that fails what I call the disability accommodation test has to be reviewed. Another problem I think we have in Africa has to do with data. We do not have accurate data of persons with disabilities. And this applies to my country, Nigeria. The statistics I gave earlier is by the World Disability Report. And I find it kind of embarrassing that the giant of Africa does not have a data of persons with disability. And so I intend to work with the necessary organizations, the National Bureau of Statistics, the National Population Commission, to ensure that such data is generated for effective planning and resource allocation. I also have an interest in professional advocacy. Most of us who advocate for persons with disabilities do this on the basis of some emotional attachment. Perhaps we ourselves are persons with disabilities, or we know someone who is. This has led to a situation where we have lots of advocates with little research. Personally, I intend to build my capacity in this area and encourage others to do same by securing scholarship for disability studies. This will ensure that we have rich research area. Public advocacy, the role of advocacy cannot be overemphasized. I intend with my organization, Cedar Seed Foundation, to carry on massive advocacy in order to change the narrative in the public that tend to portray disability as inability. This will be achieved through public celebration of milestone achievement of persons with disabilities, in order that the society begins to view persons with disabilities from their abilities rather than their disabilities. Seated here are young leaders from all over Africa, and I want to give you a charge. As you all go back to your various countries, to your various organizations, to your various offices, to your various homes, be the voice of equity. As you sit down to implement policies and design same, be the one to check to ensure that necessary adjustments have been made to accommodate all categories of persons with disabilities. Now, equity is a means, but equality is the outcome. Equity begets equality. Without equity, the dream of an equal world remains a mirage. I therefore charge you all to rise, to start speaking today for equity, for all vulnerable groups, for all categories of persons. That is the only way we can achieve a better world. And I would like to conclude with the usual word of my Syracuse fellows. It's time for us now to rise, because all barriers to building an equitable society for persons with disabilities must fall. Thank you.